Hi friends, I'm Abby and welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be reviewing tier ranking TikTok recommendations and seeing if I agree or think that these books are hyped for a reason or if I think they are overhyped, and just my opinions in general about these TikTok favourite books. And also some reflections on TikTok as a whole, because I've noticed a bit of a trend when I was looking up the books that are really popular. Obviously I had some in my head already. I was like, I know that these are big on TikTok. And then there were other ones I was like, oh, okay, I hadn't really realised how big that one was. And then I was like looking at the list, I was like, I've got reflections on this. I have thoughts. So we'll go through and I'll tier rank them and then I'll get to my thoughts at the end. And this is from someone that doesn't really watch that much on TikTok and that doesn't really engage so much with that platform. But maybe that should change. Maybe. I feel like I would struggle with doing the timings of everything. Like keeping up with both work, life, YouTube. Like I don't think I could add anything else into the mix, but you never know. Instead of the normal 5 tiers, I've done 4. So I've got The Hype is Real. I completely agree. I love this book. I can absolutely see why everyone is talking about it. Like 100% agree, 5 stars, absolutely love it. I have It's Fine. So for this is like an all-encompassing, like I like it, it's good. Maybe I can see why people recommend it, but it's not like 5 stars for me. Like I like it, but it's fine, it's good. And there's also probably ones in there that I'm like, yeah, it was okay. And then there's I Don't Get It, which I just don't understand. I don't understand why anyone is liking this book, recommending this book. I just don't get it. I don't get the hype, I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense to me. Why are you talking about this book? And then there's also TBR. So books I have not read yet. Some of these I'm interested in reading, some of these I am not interested in reading. So they're on a non-existent TBR, but there is that. I guess we will dive right into the books that I have pulled out. Okay, so top of the list, Sarah J Maas. And for me, The Hype is Real. Across the majority of her books, I thoroughly enjoy them. I get why they're recommended. I have loved Sarah J Maas's books for years. I've been reading them since like 2014 when I was anticipating the release of Heir of Fire. Like I have thoroughly enjoyed her books. So I'm fine with her being hyped. I'm fine with it. Like I don't mind. Like I'm very happy for her to be hyped. I did not enjoy House of Sky and Breath as much as some of her previous releases. I didn't find it was as well edited or the plot was engaging as it could have and should have been, but as a whole, Sarah J Maas I enjoy. I've put A Court of Thorns and Roses here as an example, but I feel like that's all encompassing of all of her books, and I have a few authors in here where it's a few of their books that I think are hyped on TikTok, and it's not just one. The Hype is Real for Sarah J Maas and me. We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. So this book was really big in 2014, and that is a thing I think that is common across of BookTok, is they are stuck in 2014 BookTube. That if you've been watching BookTube for many years, and quite a few of us have been, I watched it for many years before I decided to start making content myself, and quite a few of quite a few of the books that are really popular now on TikTok were really popular in 2014-15 on BookTube. And I remember the hype around We Were Liars. When I first discovered BookTube, or this part of the internet, I remember it was so hyped, and then obviously it had its wave in 2014-15, and then it just went like nothing really happened to it for a few years, and then BookTok came along and it was like, we're jumping on this 2014 BookTube train, like we are bringing this book back. And I mean they definitely have brought it back, but I don't get it. I didn't get it in 2014, I don't get it now. I never got it. I mean, I read the book because back at that time, I was just reading anything and everything that people were recommending. I was, I guess, going outside my comfort zone, which is fantasy, and I was trying to discover what other people were hyping. Now I know I like fantasy, and I'm not going to be reading contemporary books, really, especially YA contemporary. So it's just not for me. I don't get it. It seemed overhyped. And it's still overhyped. It seemed overhyped in 2014. It didn't need to come back on the TikTok wave. Because it's still overhyped, I don't get it. The Cruel Prince is fine. I mean, I liked the trilogy. I think the first book is the best book. 2's okay. 3 is a disappointment. There's quite a few Holly Black books that I have really enjoyed. Like, I really liked The Coldest Girl in Cold Town, and I liked The Darkest Part of the Forest. Like, those two are my standouts from her. And then I've read the Cruel Prince trilogy, and I have just received Book of Night to read. I feel like this is going to be my maybe like last chance with Holly Black. I feel like I might have aged out of her books. That those two that I really liked, I read many years ago when they were first published, or like when I was still reading a lot more YA. The Cruel Prince, I feel like I was aging out of it. So it's more like, it's not me, it's not you, it's me. It's not me. It is me. But I think the third Cruel Prince book was too short, like it was rushed. And that is my thing, that I want her to write longer books. I want her to like get darker and deeper. So hopefully Book of Night is like that. But Cruel Prince, I'm just not the right target audience for anymore. Spanish Love Deception, I'm going to put that in the hype is real. Like, I didn't give it 5 stars, but I really liked it. And I think this is one of the instances where TikTok like definitely made the book. Like, TikTok rode that wave with that book. If this is a new book, it was not around in 2014. Like, TikTok created the hype for this book. And I think it's done that for quite a few romances from the last year, that it has really like ridden the train with that book. Because the exact same can be said for The Love Hypothesis. I'll just move that one up now. I read those at a similar time in my life, and for both of them, the hype was real for them, that I thoroughly enjoyed them. I'm very happy to have that recommendation from the internet, and I think for both of them, I am on board. I'm on board with that hype train. I am there, I'm ready, I'm on the train. And I'm on the train for the next two releases, the next releases that these authors come out with, because both of them have releases coming out this summer that I'm really excited to read. So definitely on the hype TikTok train for these two books. Red Queen, I don't really know where to put this. It's like in between It's Fine and I Don't Get It. I'm going to put It's Fine, I think, because I read this quite a few years ago, and at the time I thought it was fine. Like, it was fine. I think if I read it now, I'd be like, I don't get it, because it just seems so like middle of the road, fine, YA. But at the time I thought it was fine. I never made it through the third book. I read the first 2 and I started reading the third one, and then I gave up. So I guess I don't get it either, but I don't feel as though this is original enough for it to have been like a big thing. I didn't realise this was meant to be like a big thing on TikTok. I don't feel like it's an original enough fantasy. Like, there are better YA fantasies out there. Like, this is just a amalgamation of quite a few all smushed together into one book. And so, yeah. Zodiac Academy, and I feel like this one everyone's talking about. Like, everyone is talking about this book, but I've not really seen like rave reviews for it. I feel like everyone's talking about it, but not in necessarily the most positive way. So I haven't read it personally, and I don't know if I'm going to read it. Like, this is like a 8-book series. There's quite a few books in the series, and everyone's like, oh, you have to read the first like 3 for it to get good. Like, the first 3 are bad, but then it gets good. And then there's like bullying, and it's not really a romance, and everything's just very cliche. And it's set in America, but the authors are British, and so it's got loads of British idioms that don't make sense for the setting. Or it doesn't seem as though like the two authors, because it's 2 authors a pairing, that they really communicated, and so you have things like duplicated. It doesn't, I don't know. But then people say it's really addictive and it gets really good. But I feel like this is quite low on my TBR if I was to read it. But I would say never, but it seems as though it's on a wave. It's on its own sort of wave, and I'm not on that wave. Another one that I have not read is Heartstopper by Alice Oseman, and I feel like this one is massive currently with the TV show having just come out, but I have no interest in it. I feel like that's a crime to say you have no interest in reading Heartstopper, but I have no interest in reading Heartstopper. I'm very sorry to everyone that loves this series, that loves these books, that's loving the TV show. And I watched the trailer for the TV show and everything, and I was like, this isn't for me. This isn't for me. I thought, you know, even if I can't like read the graphic novels, I could watch the TV show, but I don't know. It just seems too cutesy, too real world, contemporary. And the thing is, I do quite like contemporary TV shows, but I don't know, maybe it just seemed too high school, too contemporary, too schooly, too not me. That one's in the unread, but like unread, probably not ever going to be read category. And I'm very sorry to it. As we've done 2 in a row of ones that I have not read. I'll do one I have read, and I'll do Guild. So I've only read the first book in this series. I do want to continue on. I'm going to put it in with It's Fine, but I think I preferred this more than those other two. I feel like it's hard for me to like say, oh yeah, this is really good, because I've only read the first book, and the first book didn't like meet exactly my expectations. There's a fantasy romance with very little romance currently, that I believe the romance comes in later on in the series, but it's one where I'm like, you were okay, but I could see potential for where you're going to go. I can't like get on a hype train just yet for it. And then Emily Henry, the hype is real. I love Emily Henry's books. I've loved both People We Meet on Vacation and Beach Read. I really liked as well Book Lovers. Like, I've loved all of them. I understand why she's hyped. I understand it. I am there. I'm on the hype train. I'm like riding that wave with everyone else. So absolutely yes. And From Blood and Ash, thing is, From Blood and Ash, I was so on that hype train. Books 1 and 2, I was there. I was riding this wave. I was on the hype train. I was going for it. I was like, yes, From Blood and Ash. Like, I did a whole gush. I was just raring and raving to go. And then I got to book 3 and I was like, no, I'm not on the hype train anymore. I've been like thrown off. I've been chucked off this hype train. I have mixed opinions on that book. I have mixed opinions. I can completely see why like the first 2 books are really, really hyped, because I was there. I was on that. And then the third book, was just not very good. And then I haven't read the spin-off prequel, which I've heard pretty good reviews for, and I haven't read the 4th book, which I've heard very mixed reviews for. So I can't really say how I stand on those, and whether I would recommend them. But I mean, I can see why it's hyped, but I just have mixed opinions on it. Legendborn, I have not read, and it is on my TBR, so I cannot comment on if the hype is real for it. I feel like because this is YA, I am delaying until more books are published, like until the whole series is published. I own the first book, but I'm going to delay at least until, I think it's going to be a trilogy, until the whole trilogy is published. Then I can just binge the whole thing. I feel like that works better for me and my taste, that I can just read the whole thing and call it a day. And I think that's how I would get my peak enjoyment out of it. I've seen like 5-star reviews for this, and I've seen 1-star reviews for this. I've seen quite a few people in the middle. So it seems to be quite a divisive book, but I'm definitely excited to give it a go. Another one I haven't read is Touch of Darkness by Scarlett St. Clair. This is a Hades and Persephone retelling, and this one I own. I'm excited to read it. Originally I was like, I don't know if this is going to be for me. I'm not sure about reading this. And then I was like, the more I thought about it, I was like, why not? Why not give it a go? But obviously I can't comment on if it's worth the hype or not until I've read it. The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. The hype is real. I love that book. I love that book. I love that one. I was so addicted, so enraptured, just so in with that story, with that world, with those characters, with the writing. It was so beautiful. Like, the hype is real for Addie LaRue and me. I'm on the same page with that book. Like, the hype is real. Hype is real. And the same with The Hating Game. So I'm just like, oh, these ones are definitely real. Oh, I love The Hating Game. So maybe that's a sign that they're contemporary romances, because that's what I've got along the top. I agree with them. I agree with them on their contemporary romance taste. Like, we're in line. I'm on sync with their contemporary romances, because everything I'm agreeing with pretty much. At least with those ones. Six of Crows. It's fine. It's a book that I like. I like Six of Crows. I mean, I do. I really like it, but I think it's overhyped. Even before it was on BookTok, but before it was anywhere, like, apart from BookTube, like, when it was published, I thought it was overhyped. I thought it was overhyped. Like, with Leigh Bardugo, my favourite book by her has been Ninth House, that the Grishaverse has always been slightly overhyped, because it is overhyped. It's good, but it's not, like, the best thing ever. So, overhyped. They both die at the end. I have not read, and I have zero interest in reading that one. Absolutely zero, nil. Will not read. I think that's the one that I have. Well, I mean, it's below Heartstopper in terms of I won't read this. Like, I'd much rather read Heartstopper than They Both Die at the End. Like, that book and me, zero interest, because it's the contemporary, and you know how it ends. Well, in theory, you know how it ends. They both die at the end. It's like Romeo and Juliet. You know it. Everyone, you know they die. sorry, spoiler, but Romeo and Juliet, they die, and that's why I hated that play. I'm like, I don't know if I necessarily like a sad ending. I like a brutal ending, but I want it to be satisfying. I want to have like some happiness, some sadness. I don't just want full on death, everyone dies. And this one, it's like, it's a contemporary YA. It's just not going to work for me. It's just not going to work. So it's a no from me. The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo is, again, I think it's fine. I much prefer Daisy Jones and the Six, and Seven Husbands is just fine. It's just fine. It's not like I think it's a bad book. Like, lots of these I don't think are bad books. But they're just fine. It's not amazing. It's not amazing. The same with, there's quite a few here, like the same with House in Cerulean Sea. I like it, but it's just way too cutesy for me. Like, give me something a bit darker. It was way too cutesy. Like, I really liked it. I gave it 4 stars. Like, I liked it, but I wanted more. I wanted more world building. I wanted more plot, and aside from just cute characters. Okay, we're going to do this one, but just get over with. We Hunt the Flame. I don't get it. That book is, dare I say it, bad. There we go. I said it. You got it out there. Wash away all that bad juju. So I DNF'd We Hunt the Flame at like 150 pages. I don't get it. And like, in theory, everything about that book, in theory, should work for me. It should work for me. But it doesn't, because nothing was happening. It was insta-love. It was just cliche after cliche. It didn't seem to be well written. It seemed badly written. Like, no. I feel like there have been a few people agreeing with me on that lately, like Vish, I know she DNF'd it, and Jessie, the Bookish Mum, and she was like, I've just DNF'd this. Is this like, what's up? Is it me or the book? I was like, it's the book. It is the book. I don't get it. I don't get why anyone's hyping that book. I get why you'd hype the idea of the book, but I don't get why you would hype the actual book. It Ends With Us. I think that was fine. I read that one years ago, like years and years ago, probably when it first came out, and had its like booktube wave, and now it's on its other wave. Like, I feel like Colleen Hoover, whatever she did, she is riding this TikTok wave, because she was like massive on booktube in 2014-15, and then like that all just, I don't know, everything went really quiet. I think there was a lot of controversy around November 9 and some of the scenes around consent in that. And then like it went really quiet for her. Like, there wasn't really any news about Colleen Hoover. And then suddenly she's just back, and she is on this high wave. Like, her books are just selling well. They're doing really, really well. And books from her past are doing really, really well. Like, I don't know, she is on a wave with TikTok. And It Ends With Us, I think was good. I think it was a good book. I can't remember that much about it, but I think it was good. The same with The Atlas 6. Like, I liked it, 4 stars, enjoyed it, had a good time. Will definitely be continuing the series. I mean, I went to the event that she had in the UK, so I definitely liked it, and I would recommend it, but it's not like an all-time favourite. It's not like favourite. And then A Little Life is on TBR, and I have no interest in reading it. Zero interest. I don't want to, like, I was about to say I don't want to cry, but I do want to cry, but like, I don't want to cry just because everything's just sad, and more sad. Like, I want peaks and troughs. I want some happiness with my sadness, and that book just seems like it's sadness for sadness' sake, and I'm not interested. I feel like there are a couple I want to move around. Like, I feel like I want to move this and this, because I do get it, but I don't feel like I get it to the same level as I get all the other ones in that category. Like, all the other ones in that category, I think I gave like 4 stars, or 3-4 stars, whereas those two, maybe I gave them 3-4 stars at the time that I read them, but right now I have no interest in them. But I don't think they're quite as bad as We Were Liars or We Hunt the Flame. So there we go. That is my ranking of TikTok books. And yeah, as I said, I guess what you can see is that for contemporary romance, I am in line. Like, I have enjoyed their TikTok romance recommendations as a whole. There might be more TikTok romances that I have not read or that I have not included here that I disagree on. And then there's a whole sort of mixture between the other ones. So what I want to talk about, what I noticed when I was compiling this list, and I did like some hunting across different lists and like different websites about TikTok books and TikTok recommendations to create this list and to make sure that I was trying to make this as like just try and make sure that these are the ones that TikTok is recommending, and across a variety of websites. And what I've noticed, and what you can see, I think, quite clearly from this list, is there is a lack. There is a void. There is just an empty space for the adult epic fantasy. Where is it? Where is the adult epic fantasy on BookTok? Because on here you have adult contemporary romance. You have... Oh, I know, I've forgotten a book. I don't know where it is. I'm sure I put it in. Oh, I forgot to put like a Song of Achilles in. That again is in TBR and I have zero interest in it. Zero interest in reading Song of Achilles. There we go. Just throw that one in there. I can't like add it in now, but yeah, there we go. How could I forget? How could I forget that? Anyway, you have the adult contemporary romance, which they seem to be on their A game. You have YA fantasy from 2014. Some more like fantasy romance vibes. That seems to be a big thing. And then you have a few like random ad hoc things that just somehow seem to make it onto BookTok, like the Song of Achilles, A Little Life, Seven Husbands, Atlas 6, which seem to be on their own sort of wave. So then what it's missing is the adult epic fantasy. Where is it? Why is it not on there? Because I feel like, at least on BookTube, adult epic fantasy does quite well. It does quite well, generally. I don't know what the crossover audience is between TikTok and YouTube, or TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. I don't know what the demographic is like, and the crossover between those demographics, like whether there is as much the age range across the viewing platforms. But where is the adult epic fantasy? Because there is adult books on here. There is adult books on here. So it's not like there's only YA books. If there's only YA books, then I'd be like, okay, it's a demographic thing. But there is adult books here. So where is the adult epic fantasy? Where is it? Why is it not getting like, why is there not like a big breakout adult epic fantasy on BookTok? Why has it not been done? Like, where is it? Where is it? So that would be my like big takeaway from this. Like, where is it? Where? And what should be or could be the adult epic fantasy for BookTok readers and lovers? Is there a gap? Is there a gap in the market for an adult epic fantasy BookToker? Because where is it? Where's the hyped one? Where's the hyped one? And part of me was wondering, like, is it because BookTok or TikTok as a whole is short attention spans? It's like quick entertainment. And I think traditionally you'd think for a younger audience than YouTube. Is it that adult fantasy is like scarier for someone that doesn't read? That it's easier to pull someone in and get them to read a romance than to get them to read an adult epic fantasy? But then why does A Little Life work? Why is A Little Life on it? Because that's a really big, intimidating book. So where is the adult fantasy? And you don't have to recommend something like really daunting or big or scary to read, but bamboozled. I am bamboozled. And I think adult epic fantasy deserves to be here. There should be some adult epic fantasy on here. Hopefully in a year's time, adult epic fantasy would be on here. There'd be something on here. If maybe it's me, maybe I have not been watching the right content or looking for the right content on BookTok. If you think there is an adult epic fantasy that is big, because sometimes people can be like, oh, I never find this on BookTube. BookTube is always recommending the same thing, and you're like, no. BookTube is always recommending different things. That is just you and the algorithm. Is it my algorithm? Like, is it that for whatever reason this is what it's pushing for me, and it's not pushing the adult epic fantasy? So let me know, and thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my future videos. Bye.